All right, and we are live. Welcome, guys, to Smartbridge's third live event here hosted on LinkedIn, YouTube, as well as many other platforms. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment any way you can to stay updated with our content. Feel free to do it. Today with us, we have Raj, our CEO. Hey, Raj, how are you?
Hi, Corey. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Today, we'll be talking with Raj about a few things we're seeing prior to COVID, during COVID, and I guess technology trends we'll see post-COVID. So to kind of, get started with it, Raj, I did have a few questions for you, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with me. We'll go ahead and get started with what we saw, I guess, prior to COVID. What were you seeing with our clients, and how has this changed?
If you're talking about prior to COVID, things were great. Things were going great for every one of us. I mean, the stock market was doing extremely well. Companies, businesses were doing very well. There's a lot of optimism all around us. And then, boom, March came around, COVID hit us, and it's almost like everybody folded their tails and went into a whole different mode. So, but to answer your question, it was awesome. It was great. And everybody had great hopes for the future. And I would say that, yes, COVID has put a temporary damper, but it's going to be fine.
Yeah. So you'd say that this has made a rather large difference, though, in the way, I guess, companies are kind of, putting initiatives on the board for technology needs?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, what, COVID has sort of shaken the foundation of really how people think. I mean, in lots of different ways. No doubt COVID has an impact on every organization, both positive and negative, right? I mean, every organization and every individual working in those organizations has been impacted by COVID. I don't think we have seen something like this ever before, right? I mean, in my life, I'm 56 years old now, and I have not seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
And I bet my parents have not seen anything like this before. Because really the last time when something like this happened was in 1918 with the Spanish flu.
Yep.
And since then, we had few SARS and some of those things, but really the impact of that was not like this. I mean, most people did not even know stuff like that happening. So really, this is a new we're chartering new waters right now, and the fact that people don't know how to deal with this because we've never seen this before, all of a sudden people were trying to figure out, what do we do now, right? I mean, that's what they're trying to figure out. They were trying to figure out in March or April. Now things are different, but sort of it's a new territory, the uncharted territory. So that's the big difference between the previous months and this time. But when COVID hit, obviously, because people did not know how to react and what to expect with this, most companies have gone into a very cautious mode, I would say, to put it nicely. They stopped all spending immediately because you don't know what the revenue is going to be. You don't know how customers are going to react. You don't know if your customers are going to come back. How quickly will they come back? Will I survive? So all these things kept circling in leadership's head. And the first thing you do is you stop your spending. You reduce the spending. So that impacts not only people like us who serve our clients, and when the clients stop spending, it has an impact on us. But one of the biggest expenses in most organizations is people. So layoff of people, a lot of that happened in the second quarter of this year. Things have sort of improved, but that's really what happened at that time. People don't realize, in life, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. Yeah. Everything is temporary. This is not a static world. This is a world in motion. This is life in motion. And if you really use all of the experience across the board over centuries, you will realize that nothing is permanent. Yeah, it's a temporary road hiccup that we had, a temporary challenge that we had, honestly. But it'll pass. It'll pass. We as human beings, we will come out of this, no doubt. And later on, when you look back, it says, yeah, it was a difficult moment. We had some challenges, but we learned from that, and life is back to normal. So that's what will happen. So knee-jerk reaction sometimes is, yes, sometimes people take knee-jerk reactions. Some people are more careful, and immediately they go into a tightening mode. Some people think long-term and make small, careful adjustments. So depending on where the individuals were, which organization they were working in, it's a different impact. But
a lot of companies do. I want to touch on what you said there, because a lot of companies kind of go on a defensive mode when they don't know what's going on. Your first, intention is to, cut spending, whether it's hiring new people, firing current people, etc. But we've always learned that the best defense you have is offense to keep moving forward. So as if you were to operate as if this is the new normal, whether how long it's going to be is probably your best interest. So as soon as companies start to realize that, I think that really is going to put them in a better light, instead of just trying to weather a storm that may or may not pass. I mean, the fact that COVID, there will be a cure, and that itself will pass. But what's going on today may or may not. I mean, it's opened our eyes to a new way of living, and who knows what happens.
You said it right.
Yeah, and so it's definitely, which I guess that's going to kind of tie me into my next question of, what are you thinking in terms of trends? Where do you think, the future of technology lies? Where do you think it's heading?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. Interestingly, maybe I think in the context of COVID, this actually is a very relevant question. And let's sort of analyze this a little bit. So prior to COVID too, the last 2 years or so, companies are trying to transform themselves. Everybody wants to be like Amazon, right? You order something from Amazon. From the moment you order something, every step of the way. When the product is shipped, when it's going to arrive, the fact that they just left it at your front door, and that they just left it, and you also got a picture of that. You know what? That's the kind of experience that all of us are getting to, and the whole digital transformation that companies were talking about prior to COVID, last 2 years. Different companies at different levels of their journey. They've been going after the digital transformation, trying to be like Amazon. Amazon is a poster child. Not every company can be like that, but they want to use technology to improve their customer experience. Now with COVID, like I said, second quarter of this year, everything was put in a stop. But however, forward-thinking companies that were already in that path, that were already digitizing themselves, already had mobile applications and other customer engagement technology, all of a sudden they were able to, in a short period of time, very quickly make a switch to the new model. Because the customers are not coming to the store. If you take a restaurant company, for example, a restaurant company here in Texas, Whataburger, Taco Cabana, Taco Bell, and all these kind of companies. When COVID hit, they all had immediate store shutdowns, right? All dining was stopped. Then they had to figure out, what do I do now? And very quickly, they added curbside pickup and delivery to their technology, mobile app or other technology that they have, and integrated themselves with the third-party delivery companies, or their mobile application was quickly modified. And we actually sent some people to our clients to actually modify their technology to be able to enable this new way of doing things. Very quickly, they figured out how to operate in the new normal, and they were able to serve the customers, and customers were coming back, right? Yeah. So then the business that went down very quickly picked up, to the point that some of these companies are doing much better than what they were doing before. Oh, wow. Despite the fact that dining was closed for a period of time. So very interesting trends that are happening. So this whole digital, companies that were prepared ahead of time thrived, and the companies that were not prepared continue to struggle, and you've seen a lot of companies that actually folded, that went to bankruptcy because they don't know how to handle this scenario. Whereas Amazon, I think their revenue went up by 80%. Right? So some companies that are already digital are doing extremely well, and companies that were already in the path of creating the digital, they've accelerated and they're doing well, right? So the big trend that we see now is all this technology. Technology is now in the forefront. Several months back, if the CEO said, you know what, we'll invest a little bit in technology. Now the CEOs are saying that's the same technology that saved our company. So I think we need to accelerate the journey, and we need to accelerate that whole technology transformation that we're trying to do. So the trend now is 2021 is going to be great for technology. A lot of technology initiatives. Gartner, McKinsey, those are big consulting companies that advise C-suite. McKinsey said, what companies plan to do in the next 5 years, they're going to accelerate to do everything in the next 1 year or so. That's the pace of acceleration that will happen when it comes to technology. And a lot of technology things, when we talk about technology, a lot of things come into play. But really, that is the trend that's happening now. So we have seen that already in the third quarter and the fourth quarter of this year. A lot more investment going into technology. We were able to work from home because of technology, right? We're able to transact with our where we buy products from, sitting at your home very easily. Now, we were able to do some before, but not everything. But now we're able to do across all the things that we consume, right? So I mean, I'm very excited about the future because technology, because of what we do in technology, a lot of what we do is enabling these digital ways of doing things. So given the trends that are happening, I think that's awesome. When you talk about trends, everything about customer, making it easy is one major trend. Automation is going to be big. I think anything that can be automated will be automated in the next 2 to 3 years. So any manual processes that are there, that'll be automated. So automation is actually going to be very big. And then modernizing systems is going to be very big. And data, everything about data. Today, everything is about data. And analysis of data, and using machine learning and AI to be able to forecast or to be able to make very good decisions based on all of the data that you harness. Those are the major trends that I see that are going to accelerate in 2021.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I actually do want to touch on, you had said data. The way I like to think of it is data being this century's currency, because a lot of, like you said, decisions are made based off data. So being able to analyze, understand accurately what that data is saying, in turn, make decisions that benefit the company a lot more. So I think that's going to be really big alongside automation and all these other things. But that's something that kind of stuck out to me. Okay, so
data is a digital gold if you can harness it and convert it to gold. So
the trick is harnessing it. I agree. Okay, so Raj, you are a business owner. You directly have been affected by COVID, as well as a lot of recent college grads who unfortunately graduated at this time in the world. But it could be looked at as a positive and negative. It's how you want to look at it. But everyone's kind of going through the same thing. But you guys specifically have gone through a little bit more. So is there any advice you could offer to other business owners, as well as recent college grads who are kind of looking for a job?
So interesting question. Yeah, it is a unique time, especially for college grads. I think people. I know I've talked to a lot of companies, and I've talked to individuals that have graduated this year. I know companies have slowed down some of the graduate hiring, but a lot of companies have honored the offers that they made this year. But I know several other people were not in that lucky state where either the offers were honored or they have received the employment opportunities in this COVID environment. I know it's a very difficult situation. Okay, my advice to them is again, I go back to, this is a temporary situation. Don't think this is all hell is breaking loose. Okay, you will be fine in the long run. So this is very temporary. We'll get over this. Companies will get over this, but you should not lose heart. So the most important thing, and there is hiring going on now because we are actually picking up. Certain segments of the industries are picking up. Certain segments of the companies are picking up. Actually, the college hires that have very good skills are in great demand right now, I would say. Actually, we are hiring. I mean, during COVID, we did not lay off anybody because we think long term, we don't think short term. And now we're looking at hiring people at a college, at a entry level to be able to groom them, because we need people at all levels. So when people like us and other companies too, when they look for college grads, really what they're looking for is not necessarily always previous experience. What they're looking for is critical thinking skills. If you apply yourself and you demonstrate that you have critical thinking skills, and you can analyze a problem, you can look at how to solve a problem. You might not know the solution. That's okay. But I know I can go in a structured way to solve the problem, and it may take a little longer to ultimately solve it. But the way I think is what matters for us, and that's what we look at: is how is your brain working? Are you able to think and apply your brain, apply your intelligence in the brain, not necessarily just the brain, because even animals have brains too. But are we using intelligence to be able to solve the problem? That's one of the core things we look at. And then, are you somebody that takes initiative to learn and to do things? Because you have to walk the talk. You have to demonstrate you're hungry, and you have to walk the talk. Means that hey, these are the trends. This job requires this skill. Okay, let me spend some time. Let me research and let me acquire a little bit of the skills. So when I go to the interview, I can actually show that yes, I've learned. I've also done something with that to show you that yes, I'm saying that I've learned it, but I'm actually proving to you that I've done something that demonstrates my initiative. Yeah, right. That's the kind of quality that we look at. And then of course communication. You got to communicate well. So those are the key things, especially in professional world. This is what I'm talking about. That's what we look at, not necessarily all of your technical skills, right? Yeah. But we want to know that you can perform, and you're going to be a great fit in the organization because you have those basic qualities, right? So when you go for job interviews, when you apply, take it as a project, apply, and make sure that you're demonstrating these things, because that's really what companies want, because they want to hire future leaders who will contribute and grow in the organization. So really, this is a temporary setback, but apply those things and you will be fine. As a matter of fact, we are hiring people with technology expertise. So technology is the other thing that make sure that you have some good technology skills, because today when people hire you, then they want to see that you can embrace technology very quickly because you think that way and you have some of the skills. That's extremely important to get your job fast. Okay, so don't lose hope. Is what I would tell the college grads that are still in the job market. Use this and button up, and then go after the field, go after the market, because people are hiring, no doubt. People are hiring at your level. They may be laying off at a higher level to reduce costs, but they are hiring at your level.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's a matter of just taking that extra hour a day to just kind of study up. I mean, you could go to Udemy. We actually have courses on Udemy that you could, run through if you want to familiarize yourself with a few things we do. So, and you also said that, tough times don't last forever. That goes, both with good times. They don't last forever. So during those times, it's good that you remain, keep that hunger that you had during the tough times and just remain, on course with what you should be doing.
Yeah. So you asked about business owners too, right? I think, was that part of your question about what do you?
Yeah, no. So that was it. And then also for business owners as well. Yes.
Yeah. Business owners, again, I would start with, this is temporary, right? I mean, again, they have to realize that this is temporary, and if they hang in there, they'll come out of this and they will then thrive. It creates opportunities. Times like this creates opportunities for people. You just need to be thinking ahead and thinking creatively. Because frankly, you can come up with some new products and new solutions in times like this if you are able to apply the critical thinking. And most business people will have the critical thinking. You just need to apply yourself. The other thing I would say is, take care of your employees. Times like this, it's really people are generally in our, at least what we do in professional services, people are the assets. If there are no people, then you have no company, right? So it's very, very important to make sure that we recognize that, we show empathy to our people, and all parties have to succeed together. So employees and the business owners, everybody has to are in it together. So I would say take care of your employees. Just like how we thought long term, and we did not fire anybody. Yeah, people had to make temporary sacrifices on the compensation, but they did this because they wanted to help their colleagues and their company. That way, you avoid layoffs. Yeah. Right. So we did that, and we came out of that. If you think strategically, if you think long term, then you'll come out of that. Right. That's the second thing I would say. Taking care of employees, and then the most important thing is the customer. It's a customer that's actually giving you the money. So you got to take care of the customer and deliver an exceptional experience for customer. Yeah. Right. That's what customers want. They want to work with businesses that gives them exceptional experience. That makes it very hard for them to leave and go to some other competitor. Yeah. Okay. That exceptional experience is very important. I'll give you a simple example. Then you can transcend some of the cost factors and other things. I'll give you a simple example, a couple of examples. So take Amazon, right? Do we ever think that Amazon actually gives you the lowest price? No. Actually, the other day, my daughter was buying something on Amazon, and then she created a cart, and then she showed me. I looked at that. I said, wait a minute. Prices seem to be higher than what it should be. So I quickly jumped onto the manufacturer's site. These are consumer products, but I went to the brand site.
Yeah,
the price there was 40% lower than here. So where do you want to buy from Amazon? But a lot of people will buy no matter what, because they're blindly just going there. It's so easy because Amazon has made it so easy to click, one click, done, right? So invariably, a lot of people, especially youngsters, will invariably just go do it and just buy it from Amazon. Now, what to learn from that is the experience that Amazon creates that makes it so easy, eliminating the friction that the consumer has to buy products from Amazon is what, with that, Amazon is actually making a lot of money. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of experience. I'm not saying you're Amazon, but it's all about the customer, and make sure that you're connecting with the customer, deliver that experience, and be flexible with them, right? And don't be hard-nosed with the customers, because customers may be having a difficult time. I'll give you another example. I'm a board member in one of the charity organizations that I'm part of, the Temple. Is an Indian temple, and the pest control guy all of a sudden 3 months back said we have to increase your price. Wait a minute, the religious organization, their donations are down because of COVID. Nobody's going, right? Donations are down, but yet a service provider wants to raise the price. I think my initial reaction is I think we should just fire that company, because there's no empathy in that organization, right? There's no empathy for the customer. So I told them, right, this is really a bad time. Our revenues are down, and we're trying to reduce our expenses. And you're saying you're going to increase your expense as a service provider? Fortunately, that company immediately said, you know what, we're not going to do it. So that's good for them. I'm actually glad they did that. But that's an example of how you need to sort of react and not blindly do things. But you need to empathize with the customers and do the right thing, because in the long run, things will work out, right? Yeah. And then probably the last thing I would say is maybe two more things. Ask for referrals. Go to your customer and ask for referral, because Referral is the best way to grow your business, right? It's the cheapest way to grow your business. Ask for referrals. Don't hesitate, because they will have a lot of friends who may also want the similar services, right? And then the last thing I would say is digital, depending on what business you are in, look at digitizing. So as a smaller business, it's a little bit harder to create that capability, but you have to do it because your customers are expecting their service providers or your suppliers to be digitally savvy, digitally enabled, because the big companies are all getting mature in the digital world, and they expect their service providers and suppliers to do the same. So I would say don't sit back. Look at how to digitize your things, because it's actually not that difficult in today's world, because there are a lot of tools available. Right? You just need to sort of invest a little bit, make your services digital. So because that's also required for this COVID contactless operation, right? So that's the other thing that I would say.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it all starts with the buyer, whether it's a product or a service-oriented business. I mean, they're the reason you're in business. So just keep them happy, make it seamless. You'll be good to go. Okay. All right. So I appreciate it. I did have one more question for you before we let you go here, because I know you probably got things to do. It's in regards to Smartbridge and services you kind of see us expanding on. So I know you mentioned robotic process automation earlier. Could you touch a little more on that, and if you see any expansion happening there or any other categories you're thinking of?
Okay. On the robotic process automation, basically, to simply, if I were to sort of simply state what it is, if you go to any company, any organization, you're going to see a lot of people, especially in accounting, finance, HR, payroll, supply chain.
Yep.
You typically would see a lot of people that have a defined role, and they have certain tasks that they go through. On Monday, they do these things. Tuesday, they may do this. Friday, they may do this. Month end, they have to do this. There are a lot of repetitive manual tasks that they do, taking data from this system, taking data from this system, putting in a spreadsheet, massaging something, and then loading some data into this system, and then creating a report and sending it to their boss. And all these things that they do, guess what? Repetitive manual tasks that people do with data and digital stuff, machines frankly can do it much faster, cheaper, and at a higher quality than humans. So why not let machines do those repetitive mundane tasks and free up people's time, and use their time and their intelligence to improve and grow the business, to take care of customers, rather than being heads down doing things like this, right? That's the whole idea. So that's why this whole robotic process automation came up. Automation has been around for a long time, but this robotic process automation, they call it RPA, is a new trend that's came up in the last 2-3 years or so, where new tools are coming to the market with which you can now automate a lot of these things. And companies are now accelerating, especially COVID has created an environment where companies have to create efficiencies, reduce costs, and improve focus on the customer. So RPA is a big, major trend now. A lot of large companies have already embraced, embarked on a pretty exhaustive RPA program across those companies, and a lot of the mid-sized companies are now jumping on the bandwagon too. So we're seeing a lot of demand for RPA ourselves, and we started that 2 years back, luckily, because we saw the trend coming, and now that's actually accelerating quite a bit. So we're doing that for very large organizations now.
So, and I don't mean to interrupt you here, but so I wanted to say, so is it for your everyday person? Is it possible for somebody who doesn't know once they bring that on, or is this just for your coding programming type? This can be used by everyday people. Is that not right?
Yeah. So RPA as a technology, yes, there is some coding sometimes for advanced stuff, but some of the basic stuff, you don't need coding. With these tools, you can actually do it yourself in organizations without coding. So I would say there's various levels. There's the the simpler automations that you can do yourselves, the medium complexity and the higher complexity that you may want to partner with your IT or partners like us, and implement those things. And you're not going to blindly automate everything that you see. I mean, you're going to go through a structured process to figure out based on ROI, return on investment, which ones you should do and which ones you should not do. But definitely that's one. The whole data management that you were talking about earlier, that is evergreen. That the data analysis to improve how you make decisions, and frankly machines make decisions analyzing the data to be able to grow the business is the trend. If you take Amazon, for example, Amazon has a lot of data. It's not the humans telling you, because you're buying this, you should buy this. It's the machines that are actually telling you that. It's all predictive analytics. It's all based on data. People who bought this also bought these other things. Are most likely they will need this combination of these other things, right? So machines actually drive the economic engine in these organizations in the future, and that's all data. So data is going to be huge, and it's always huge. I mean, already huge, and it will be huge, right? So those are some of the major trends that are happening. That's why I'm excited about the future of how technology is going to transform.
All right, it's some exciting times ahead of us, and we can touch base in a year and see how everything went. But okay, well, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us. If you guys need any assistance with any automation, digital transformation needs, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Corey Schreffler. Again, thank you, Raj, and then we will speak soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I wish everybody all the best, especially college graduates. Wish you best, and definitely reach out in case you need any advice. And we are hiring too.
Yeah, feel free to get with me, guys. If you are interested in a job with Smartbridge, just let me know, and then we can discuss offline.
All right, very good.
Thanks.
Thank you.